Here, the same government convinced us, some of us refused, when they came here waiving the same deadlines for Magola's factory. We said, do not pay any money until you have acquired shares in that factory. And that was the condition that was given by this parliament. Immediately the parliament passed, they went ahead and paid. Let him bring here, he committed, let him bring here a share certificate from that factory.
Right Honorable has an interest in that factory. I commit to bring documents.
I am talking about the day you paid.
The matter has been raised to me, and I am here. And Right Honorable Speaker, I am committing to bring documents here that to prove that government has shares in that factory, in that company.
You start with the day of payment, that I paid this day, and the certificate we acquired on this day. That is the contention.
Right,
you first paid and then started negotiating,
right,
because
Honorable.
You did not even know the value of the company.
Honorable.
So which part should I answer, Right Honorable Speaker?
No, it's just quarreling there.
Traditions and customs are things Africans cannot trade for anything. So people who bring proposals that undermine these values must reflect on them. I'm here as a member of the National Committee to highlight some key issues I've departed on. Madam Speaker, you will agree with me. I just got this document here. It may not have reflected my true intention, but I want to say the majority committee has made a summary recommendation on why this loan should be given a little bit of time so that the underlying issues can be reflected. For example, in the leasing and the assignment agreement, there is an account called the escrow account on which UMEME has been paying rent and other incomes and withdrawing. To date, nobody in this country knows what that account is holding. And yet this same agreement provides that if there are any obligations, they can be paid from that account. This is something the Auditor General is supposed to cater for. Two, Madam Speaker, there's what we call liquidity facility in the leasing and license agreement. What that facility does is, if government is not able to meet any obligations to UMEME, the guarantee under that facility can actually be invoked. Up to now, we cannot understand why we have chosen to do borrowing when that option.
We're in which page?
On page 2, which talks about the compliance of this law with this borrowing with our laws and the agreements we have executed.
So?
And I did give a disclaimer that I may not go to the details, but I wanted to highlight things that the Attorney General could respond to. Because one of the opportunities we missed was to engage the Attorney General. You are aware, Article 119 mandates that the Attorney General must be part of every agreement government enters into. And before any loan is passed by this House, we must have been, as a committee, satisfied that the Attorney General has reviewed those conditions and is in agreement.
Okay.
Honorable members, one of the conditions in this agreement is that we must waive our immunity. This agreement, the way I've read it, it erodes our sovereignty. Why? We are being subjected to the laws of English laws. Because I have the draft agreement here, I will lay them. That if we have disputes, we will resolve them in London. That undermines Article 129, which sets up our courts. That undermines the supremacy of our laws. Article 2.2 of our Constitution makes our laws very supreme. And if we waive these obligations, it means we have waived our sovereignty. Madam Speaker, one of the things I would expect the Minister of Energy to respond to, which we did not have the opportunity for, is UECD's, UECDL's takeover readiness. Can I make my submission? Up to now, we are going to inherit.
Can you respect the member?
We are going to inherit assets from UMEME, but we have no asset register. We don't know what we are paying for. Who can answer that question affirmatively?
They will answer.
What is the government of Uganda paying for, and where are these assets? What are the liabilities of UMEME? Are there people they dealt with that we are supposed to pay? Do they have tax obligations? They are supposed to be environmental compliance issues that should be reported on. They are nowhere. So what if these liabilities come to government? Who shall we point to? Madam Speaker, I have a letter, I have a submission from the Ministry of Finance. One of it is what we call the mandate letter. This mandate letter shows what the lenders are willing to offer us. If you read the figures here, it's talking about 225. That is what they committed to give us. And yet minister is bringing a proposal for 190. Whose figure is the truthful one? If we are borrowing 190, where is the offer letter for that borrowing from any bank? These are things we must be able to reconcile. Madam Speaker, if you could just allow me conclude. Anybody who makes tax, who earns income in this country must pay tax. The conditions in this agreement, which I would expect the Attorney General to respond to, they waive the tax obligations on the lenders. Why? And what is the procedure for waiving tax obligation? This is what I invite the House to pay attention to before you approve any law.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not only that, if I could... But before I lay them, I have read the amended...
What are you laying?
The documents which I will read.
Which ones?
The documents that were submitted to the committee by the Ministry of Finance.
No, the documents have been laid by the chairperson.
They have not laid any document, and if I'm laying contrary one, the record must be able to capture. Madam Speaker, most importantly, I have an amendment of the leasing and assignment agreement. And on that agreement, there was an investment by government of Uganda using a loan from African Development Bank. And that investment is being claimed by UMEME as unrecovered. Why should we have been investing in substations through loans, we have been building lines. Why should someone come and claim this thing as the investment, and you want this process to be rubber stamped without Auditor General doing good work? So today, this country must watch whether they have elected MPs to come and represent their interests here, or they are working in somebody's interest. Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, let nobody intimidate you. Nobody should intimidate you. No. Yes, Honorable Guam. Okirar.
Madam Speaker.
They came here individually, and you're going to come back individually.
In fact, when we were reviewing the leasing and assignment agreements, we were asking who were those people who signed that agreement. Because the commitments they put government in are the kind of things which we have been read here, the penalties. So all I'm trying to say is that we have an opportunity now to do things better. I don't have enough time. Let me finish.
Honorable, I've given it to him. I've given honorable both. Honorable both, yes.
But
the information is to me.
To accept.
The information is to me. Yes.
Thank you very much.
You are breaching the rule.
The member, honorable members, asked in his submission that who are the people who signed the contract, the agreements. this same parliament,
Approved.
this same parliament in this parliament made investigation.
He's on procedure. No.
This parliament provided an investigation which took 2 years. And this parliament condemned those who signed that agreement. And this very buyout was a recommendation of parliament. And for the record, I was able to chair that committee. We had the Honorable Segona, we had the Honorable Beta Mong, we had several people.
Amongi, not among.
Beta Mongi.
Who chairs your cabinets actually directed people he has delegated to work on this thing some 3 years ago, since 2022. And many people slept on duty. That's why we are now in a situation of emergency, and everything is being done without, you can imagine all these documents, we received them yesterday. So how can a reasonable person be able to read? I read through these documents the whole night, and that's why I'm able to raise these issues.
Speaker, 2022, I was a Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, and therefore, I've been attending Cabinet. The directives that I know of from the President, at least to the Minister of Energy, is not to renew the concession of UMEME. That is the directive, not to renew. There was never a directive to review the concession, for which the member is proposing to amend at this tail end of the concession. Is the member of parliament in order to allege without substantiating, without laying on table the directives from the President?
Honorable, you have been here longer than some of us. It was a resolution of this House that there should be a sale of UMEME, a buyout of UMEME. That is one. Two, what Honorable Oguzli is saying is correct. That we slept on the job. We should have handled this thing long time ago. No.
Correct, because I have those minute extras. Because there are people we charge with responsibility, they should have done that work for us incrementally until now we would have known these are the figures. Why that information is important is,
and you'll find, Minister, it may not be only you, it can also be all of us, even in Parliament, Auditor General, everybody. It is not one single person sleeping on the job. But we knew very well that there was going to be a buyout of this institution. So why didn't we do it?
Impermissible to come to this House any earlier, because the terms of the agreement, which Honorable Anguzuli says he read, told us exactly at what point UMEME was. There is a process to be followed in the buyout. So you couldn't come any earlier.
I want to inform the Attorney General that by the grace of God, I've been here a little longer, and I have information that in 2011, this House actually resolved that this UMEME deal must be terminated. And government said then it was very expensive. So when the President says this thing must not be renewed, common sense would tell you that that he doesn't want to go ahead with it. And it doesn't work for the...
Honorable, you're not parliamentary.
Okay, I withdraw that statement. Let it be extracted. on the record of Parliament. Okay, those who work for the people of Uganda would have sensed that if we are not moving ahead with this thing, it means it is going to end. How was it provided for? How was the ending provided for? They would have now done the right thing, which they delayed to do. So, Madam Speaker, I now want to lay the record of Auditor, the letter of Auditor General on floor of this Parliament, and Auditor General has highlighted things he must do first before this approval is done. And here I lay the letter. Whoever disregards it will pay attention to it later. I have a letter here written by ERA. ERA said, ERA is the Electricity Regulatory Authority, the people who must approve of every investment first, not the minister, not the Attorney General, not anybody, not even the Minister of Defense. It has to be ERA, because they are the regular. They have said the only amount of money you can pay UMEME, and they have verified the assets for, that if you go to that place, the asset will exist. That's why I was insisting the minister gives us asset register. They have said what we can pay UMEME can only be $127 million. And the letter is here.
Honorable Guzole,
Yeah.
I want you to distinguish between on the amount is answered with a letter, a commitment which was given by Ministry of Finance. Yes, Tony?
For about 7 years or so, till their term comes to the end. Right, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Guzuli is presenting the position of ERA to UMEME for us to get them off. And I think from that position, while the committee recommends, okay, the document you have is saying about 190 million and 190 something million, then we proceed, right, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah.
Because let's trust and we
Is subjected to an audit. The figures from ERA will be subjected to an audit, and it is only the amount that the Auditor General approves is what will be paid to UMEME. Yes, there's a procedural matter.
Yes, thank you very much. Here, the same government convinced us, some of us refused, when they came here waiving the same deadlines for Magola's factory. We said, do not pay any money until you have acquired shares in that factory. And that was the condition that was given by this Parliament. Immediately the Parliament passed, they went ahead and paid. Let him bring here, he committed, let him bring here a share certificate from that factory.
Right Honorable has an interest in that factory. I commit to bring documents.
I am talking about the day you paid.
The matter has been raised to me, and I am here. And Right Honorable Speaker, I am committing to bring documents here that to prove that government has shares in that factory, in that company.
You start with the day of payment, that I paid this day, and the certificate we acquired on this day. That is the contention.
Right,
you first paid and then started negotiating,
right,
because
Honorable.
you did not even know the value of the company.
Honorable.
So which part should I answer, Right Honorable Speaker?
No, it's just quarreling there. Can we have some order?
Right Honorable Speaker. 190 million US dollars is too huge for us to handle in a proper way. Can we respect our rules, and then they will guide us at the exact amount when it is due, well audited, then we'll proceed. Right Honorable Speaker, I'll rise to support, but let us really be fair to ourselves and the country.
Thank you. Honorable.
I move, Right Honorable Speaker, I move that the question be put on the motion by the Minister in regards to the loan amount which has been brought to the House. A motion which is a motion to borrow
up to euro equivalent of US dollars 190,988,566 from Stanbic Bank for the UMEME Limited buyout. Thank you.
Seconded. The seconders will still be there. Orone, Maxi, Noah, Maureen, Peter, Namganza, Okumu, Ogwang. Honourable members, I put a question at the motion for a resolution of Parliament to authorize government to borrow up to euros equivalent of USD 190,998,556 from Stanbic Bank for the UMEME Limited buyout be approved by this House with amendments. With the amendments, those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.